We are tuning back into As a Man Thinketh, chapter, thought, and character. The aphorism, new word. Let's make sure we put that in the pink section. Let's get the right word. What's this? Aphorism. A pithy observation that contains a general truth, such as, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or two, a concise statement of a scientific principle, typically by an ancient classical author. It is a noun. The aphorism, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is not only embraces the whole of a man's being, but is so comprehensive as to reach out to every condition and circumstance of his life. A man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all his thoughts. As the plant springs from and could not be without the seeds, so every act of a man springs from the hidden seeds of thought and could not have appeared without them. This applies equally to those acts called spontaneous and unpremeditated as to those which are deliberately executed. Act is the blossom of thought, and joy and suffering are its fruits. Thus does a man garner in the sweet and bitter fruitage of his own husbandry. New words. Let's put the yellow on that. We need to hold. Let's see this. Fruitage. Fruit collectively. Husbandry, the care, cultivation, and breeding of crops and animals. Management and conservation of resources. Thought in the mind hath made us. What we are by thought was wrought and built. Wrought, a verb. Archaic past and past principle of work, beaten out or shaped by hammering. By thought was wrought and built. If a man's mind hath evil thoughts, pain comes on him as comes the will, the ox behind. If one endure impurity of thought, joy follows him, as his own shadow sure. Man is a growth by law. Man is growth by law, and not a creation by... I like that. Man is growth by law. That's powerful. Man is growth by law and not a creation by artifice, and cause and effect is a absolute and undeviating in the hidden realm of thought, as in the world of visible and material things. A noble and godlike character is not a thing of favor or chance, but is the natural result of continued effort and right thinking. The effect of long cherished association with godlike thoughts. An ignorable and bestyled character by the same process is the result of the continued harboring of thoughts. Groveling, verb, lie or move abject on the ground with one's face downward. She was groveling on the floor in fear. Man is made or unmade by himself. In the armory of thought, he forges the weapons by which he destroys himself. He also fashions the truth with which he builds for himself heavenly mansions of joy and strength and peace. By the right choice and true application of thought, man ascends to the divine perfection. By the abuse and wrong application of thought, he descends below the level of the beast. Behind these two extremes are all grades of character, and man is their maker and master. Of all the beautiful truths pertaining to the soul which have been restored and brought to light in this age, none is more gladdening or fruitful of divine promise and confidence than this, that man is the master of thought, the molder of character, and the maker and shaper of condition, environment, and destiny. As a being of power, intelligence, and love, and the lord of his own thoughts, man holds the key to every situation and contains within him that transforming and regenerative agency by which he may make himself what he wills. Man is always the master, even in his weaker and most abandoned state. By in his weakness and degradation, the condition or process of degrading or being degraded, a trail of human misery and degradation. He is the foolish master who misgoverns his household. When he begins to reflect upon his conditions and to search diligently for the law upon which his being is established, he then becomes the wise master, directing his energies with intelligence and fashioning his thoughts to fruitful issues. Such is the conscious master, and man can only thus become by discovering within himself the laws of thought, which discovery is totally a matter of application, self-analysis, and experience. Only by much searching and mining are gold and diamonds obtained, and man can find every truth connected with his being. If he will dig deep into the mind of his soul, and that he is the maker of his character, the molder of his life, and the builder of his destiny, he may unerringly prove, if he will watch, control, and alter his thoughts, tracing their effects upon himself, upon others, and upon his life and circumstances, linking cause and effect by patient practice and investigation, and utilizing his every experience, even to the most trivial everyday occurrence, as a means of obtaining that knowledge of himself, which is understanding, wisdom, power. In this direction, as in no other, is the law absolute, that seeketh, findeth, and to him that is knocketh, it shall open. For only by patience, practice, and ceaseless opportunity can a man enter the door of the temple of knowledge.